So today we're going to talk about absolute value and writing equations with absolute value. Okay, so first, writing equations. When setting up a word problem involving absolute, the absolute value represents the distance from a point. Now, we've talked about this with our M&M activity where it is the distance away from. So absolute value is when that solution can be above or below a stated value. So it can be a fixed value. Now, in our M&M, it was 783, which was the exact amount in the little tub of M&Ms. So this one is an example. A packing machine puts 32 ounces of a product in a container with a margin of error of 0.5 ounces. What are the acceptable maximum and minimum weights of the contents? So X minus 32 with absolute value has to equal 0.5. That's how you would set that up. Now, on this next one, the bottles manufactured in a certain factory have a volume of 250 milliliters with a margin of error of 20 milliliters. Write an inequality that can be used to assess if the bottles are usable. Now, we haven't talked about inequality and absolute value, but it's going to be very similar to equations, but it's going to be less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, using that inequality sign. So, if you look, you've got in both of these, the margin of error is equal to, because it has to be equal to the margin of error. But then whatever the volume is minus 250 and then the absolute value signs. So I want to now talk about, we're going to use this example right here to solve. So the first thing you have to do is to solve, isolate the absolute value expression. So to be able to do that, you have to set up two equations. Set equal to plus or minus, that's a plus or minus sign. I don't know if you've seen that or not. Of the right side of the equal sign. So you've got x minus 32 equals a positive 0.5, and then x minus 32 equals a negative 0.5. Okay, and now you're just going to solve. So you're going to add 32 to both sides, and x is going to be 32.5. And then you're going to add 32 to the other side, and you're going to have x is equal to 31.5. And that is basically your range in which your answer, your margin of error is going to be, or what the volume of the product is going to be in each container, because there is a margin of error in each in each container. So let's look at this example right here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to isolate the absolute value expression, meaning you're going to say x minus 7 equals 5, x minus 7 equals a negative 5. Then you're just going to solve for x. X equals 12, and then x equals 2. So basically, if you were going to denote it on a number line, you would say that this was 7, and this is your lowest value, 2, and then your largest value, which is 12. So it's basically just a visualization of saying that it is plus 5 on both, or minus 5 and then plus 5, sorry, it's a minus. Okay, so now we're going to talk about solving and graphing inequalities. To solve, isolate the absolute value expression and set up two inequalities based on the inequality symbol used. So this is going to be a little bit different. You're going to, if greater than or equal to, use or. Okay, now you're going to set up it the same way. X minus 7 is greater than 2. And then based on this inequality, you're going to, because it's going to be an absolute value, you're going to switch the inequality sign around. So you're going to say x minus 7 is less than or equal to negative 2. Okay, so then you'll just solve like normal. X is greater than or equal to 9, and then x is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to be able to graph it on a number line, just like an inequality with one variable. You're going to say x is greater than, or x is less than or equal to 5. So this is going to be on your number line, and then x is greater than 9. So it's going to be, so it's not going to be equal to everything inside here. It's going to be or, either or. Okay. Now, if less than or less than or equal to, use and. Okay. Now you're going to set it up the same way you did the first one. X minus 3 is less than or equal to 4. And you're going to set up the other one the same way, except for you're going to flip the sign. X minus 3 is greater than or equal to negative 4. So then you're going to solve. So x is less than or equal to 7. And then x is greater than or equal to negative 1. So from here you're going to label this. This is negative 1 and this is 7. And it's going to be less than 7 but greater than negative 1. So it's going to be everything in between. So it may be written as, let's see, negative 1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 7, just like you would your domain. So I want to emphasize whenever you are setting up these inequalities, make sure that you flip this sign. You cannot forget to do that. Okay, I hope this helps. Thanks.